National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster secretly met with South Korean and Japanese officials last weekend to discuss North Korea's nuclear weapons program. The group concluded that North Korea's upcoming appearance at the Winter Olympics was a diversion and that all sides would continue to pressure the Kim regime to give up its nuclear program. Joining me now is Fred Fleitz, the former CIA analyst and chief of staff to Ambassador John Bolton. He's now a senior vice president at the Center for Security Policy. Fred, will the South Koreans, a lot of people were wondering whether the South Koreans were getting a little squishy when it came to their relations with North Korea. But it seems that they've found a backbone in the past couple of weeks. Can we rely on them to stand by us?
Well, David, that's really the question. There have been concerns that President Moon of South Korea, who has historically wanted to engage in negotiations with the North, whether he may try to buy off the North, which we know from history does not work. The North will pocket any concessions and continue their missile and nuclear programs. If press reports are correct, this meeting that General McMaster hosted, during the meeting, both the U.S., Japan, and South Korea all agreed that North Korea's recent interest in negotiations and joining the Olympics really are a diversion. And I think that's good news because we really need to keep South Korea on track to keep the pressure up on the North.
Now, the question of whether they would ever give up their nukes is something you and I have talked about before, and I think both of us agreed that this is a bargaining chip that they never plan to eliminate unless they're forced to do so one way or another. Do you think it will come down to a matter for us? I know your old boss, John Bolton, thinks so.
Well, I mean, we have to think about what's the purpose of North Korea's nuclear deterrent. Is it really just to protect the country? And I think the size of North Korea's missile arsenal, the fact that North Korea reportedly has built a hydrogen bomb, it may have up to 60 weapons, it's building submarine-launched missiles. David, I don't think this really is a deterrent. I think this is an offensive force, and we have to stop it before it's used. And I think the idea of some type of limited military action, maybe shooting down North Korean missiles, maybe a naval blockade, this is something that I think that has to be on the table.
Now, President Trump told the Wall Street Journal, I know there was a dispute about one word, but he told the Journal that at least he probably could have a dialogue of some sort with Kim. Do you think he should try to?
Well, that has been the president's position for a long time. He said during the campaign he would be willing to sit down with Kim. I'm not sure that's the right approach, but frankly, I don't mind the president making a proposal like that because it puts the ball in Kim's court of whether to accept it or not. And I have to tell you, I think there's some questions on who really runs North Korea and whether the people behind Kim will ever let him meet with President Trump. So I'm not sure this is a negative development.
Yeah, Lord knows what they'd find if they ever actually had
right.
him in a real conversation with cameras rolling. Let me switch gears a little bit because it turns out Japan had a false alarm that was very similar to Hawaii's false alarm about North Korean nukes coming to attack them. And this was just a couple of days apart. What's going on here?
Well, it seems like both the government of Hawaii and the government of Japan have to have a better system to send out these alerts. But it also shows how worried the world is about North Korea's missile program. But let me make one point here. Did you hear all these movie stars and people on the left attacking President Trump over this fake alert in Hawaii? Don't they realize that these tensions began under Barack Obama? You know, these videos of the U.S. being attacked with nuclear weapons, they began in 2013 when Barack Obama was president. So they shouldn't really be blaming these tensions on President Trump. It's something he inherited from President Obama.
Well, by the way, it wasn't just movie stars. The congressional spokesman, the only congressperson that exists for Hawaii because it's such a small state, came out, Tulsi Gabbard, and said that we are somehow responsible for North Korean nukes. That is, if it wasn't for our belligerent, aggressive behavior, they wouldn't have a nuclear arsenal.
Shameful. It's shameful that she said that. She knows better than that, given her background. I mean, the U.S. isn't about to invade North Korea, but if you could even make the intellectual argument that North Korea's nuclear force was a deterrent, it doesn't need 60 weapons. It doesn't need a hydrogen bomb or a ballistic missile that could hit Washington.
Right.
I mean, she should really take back those comments.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen, but they certainly were wrong. Fred Fleitz, thank you very much. Good to see you.